Hey there, kids. This is Reveal Math, lesson 9.1. Let's take a look together, okay? It says this, you can decompose a fraction into smaller fractions. Decompose means to break apart a fraction into smaller fractions. You can use unit fractions. Now, unit fractions always have a numerator of 1, okay? If you're thinking about our plastic tile pieces that we use for fractions, our fraction strips, it would just be one of those plastic pieces. So you can use unit fractions to decompose or break apart a fraction into the greatest number of parts. So for example, 5/4, they tell you right here. Well, that's really 1/4, okay? Plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. They did it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now these are all unit fractions because they all have a numerator of 1. Okay, and it says here you can combine unit fractions to show more than one way to make greater addends. Okay, so here's 5/4 again, and there's a lot of different ways that we could do this right here. For example, you could go 2/4 plus 2/4, that makes 4/4, plus one more fourth, that makes 5/4. Okay, now there's other ways to do it. Here's 5/4 again, right? How about 3/4 plus 2/4? Well, that makes 5/4, okay? 5/4 again. How about 4/4 plus 1/4? That makes 5/4. And there's other ways to do it too. But anyway, right now you're learning how to decompose fractions. That's what the lesson is about today. All right, let's try some of these together, okay? It says this, 2/3. Well, that right there, they want to say what unit fractions. Now, if they're saying unit fractions, it's got to have a numerator of what? Right, it's got to have a numerator of 1. So what unit fractions decompose the fraction? Well, 2/3, there's only one answer to this, okay? It's 1/3 plus 1/3. In our fraction strips, it would be like one of those plastic third pieces, and one of those plastic third pieces makes two of those plastic pieces, okay? Or 2/3. Now we have to use unit fractions again here for 5/6. Well, we know because it's unit fractions that every one of these has to have a numerator of 1. That's what a unit fraction is, okay? Every one of these has to have a numerator of 1. Now, if this is sixths right here, all of these have to be sixths also. Whenever you're adding fractions, the denominators must be the same, okay? So there we go. We have a bunch of 1/6 unit fractions put together to make 5/6. Here's 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, and 5/6. The sum, right, the sum of these unit fractions is 5/6. Kids, you're learning how to decompose fractions. What fractions decompose the fraction into 3 parts? Now this time they don't tell you to use unit fractions. So there's a lot of different answers this could be. Okay, so for example, I could go 2/8 plus 3/8. That would be 5/8, right? Plus 6/8. Okay, 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 6 is 11/8. Now, it could have been, there's lots of different answers that it could have been. You didn't have to do it that way, okay? You could have done it like this. You could have used a unit fraction, like 1/8 plus another 1/8 plus 9/8. Okay, wouldn't that equal 11/8 also? 1 plus 1 plus 9 is 11. All right, as long as all these denominators are the same, whenever you're adding, all the denominators have to be the same. Okay, but you could come up with other combinations to be right also. Same thing with this one right here, 17/12. Now this is an improper fraction, and so is this. The numerator should not be bigger than the denominator, but they decided to do it this way. I'm actually gonna use this one to fix it, okay? So let's say this, we could say this. We could say 12/12. Okay, that's worth 1 whole, isn't it? Okay, and then you could come up with 2 other ones, like 5/12, right? And you could come up with that, whoops, that already gives me, I can't do that actually, because that would be already, I shouldn't have written that. Let's get rid of that. Okay, how about 3/12? Okay, I'm up to 15 twelfths plus 2 twelfths. There we go. Okay, well, this right here is equal to 1 right here. These two right here are equal to 5 twelfths. So this whole thing really equals 1 and 5 twelfths. All right, or it equals 17 twelfths. This is an improper fraction. This right here is a mixed number. We'll talk more about that later. But right now you're learning how to decompose fractions. There were many different answers you could have put in here. I just chose one of them. All right, what missing fractions decompose the fraction into 5 parts? Well, they got 7/6. All right, fine. That is, they say it's 2/6 plus 2/6, that's 4/6, plus 1/6 is 5/6. Well, if we're using two more, the only thing we can do is 1/6 here and 1/6 here. Okay, 2, 4, 5, right? 6 and 7, and they're all sixths. So it's 7/6. All right, this one right here, 13 tenths. Well, we got 5 right here, then we got another 5 right here, that's 10, 11, and we got to use unit fractions again. Here's 12, and here's 13. Okay, they could have done this differently without making us use unit fractions. They could have made these numbers smaller, and we could have had something else other than unit fractions. But in this case right here, there was only one way to do it, and that's it right there. You're looking at it. 5 plus 5 is 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, all the numerators add up to 13, just like right here. The denominators all stay the same. Tenths, 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 tenths. That all stays the same. Okay? Kids, right now you're learning how to decompose fractions. All right, in your workbook today, you're doing pages 35 and 36. You're doing practice pages 89 and 90. You're learning how to decompose fractions. Okay, on the Friday quiz, it looks like this right here. They have 5/8 and 4/5. And 5/8, well, that's the same thing as 1/8, right? Plus 1/8. There's only one answer here for this. Plus 1/8, plus 1/8, plus 1/8, right? We could do that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 4/5, well, we do this as 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. Okay, we got 3 of them so far, and we need one more 1/5. So in this case right here, they used unit fractions entirely. If the directions had been different, perhaps they could have had you do something other than unit fractions. But they said we had this many, we had 4 spaces. The only thing you could put in each time was a 1. Okay, so kids, you're learning how to decompose fractions. I think you can do this. Kids, if you're having trouble, come see us. We will help you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.